Imagine a solid-state battery so flexible it bends like plastic, yet conducts lithium ions as fast as liquid. Hello, and welcome to the Rigaku vlog on industrial battery advancements. I am Zijun Wang, a materials scientist and R&D consultant with years of experience helping battery companies solve material and quality challenges. I cut through research, industry news, and policy updates to bring you the latest battery updates in under 10 minutes. In this episode, let's have an overview of flexible sulfide solid electrolyte. So, what is a flexible solid electrolyte? It's a type of solid-state electrolyte that can undergo mechanical deformation without losing its ionic conductivity or experiencing structural damage. Flexibility in solid electrolytes is crucial for flexible batteries and wearable electronics because these devices may be exposed to repeated mechanical stresses. Sulfide-based electrolytes, like lithium thiophosphate, are known for their high ionic conductivity and good chemical stability. However, traditional sulfide electrolytes are brittle and more challenging to make flexible due to their crystal structures. They are prone to cracking under stress. To make sulfide-based electrolytes more flexible, researchers are experimenting with composite electrolytes. This combines sulfide electrolytes with flexible polymer matrices. It helps retain the high ionic conductivity of sulfides while adding the mechanical flexibility of polymers. Factorial Energy published a patent early 2024 describing an approach to make flexible sulfide solid electrolytes with bending strain no less than 0.1% and lithium-ion conductivity no less than 0.5 millisiemens per centimeter. The general steps are shown here. First, mix particles of the sulfide electrolyte with a binder and a solvent, resulting in a slurry. Then coat the slurry on a base made of a film and a non-woven fabric. The fabric usually has a porosity of 70 to 80%. Followed by a vacuum drying, a dried coating is attached to the fabric. Finally, peeling the dried coating with the fabric from the film substrate. Then you get an electrolyte membrane. During the process, desirable thickness is achieved by calendaring. The membrane then undergoes further tests. Bending strain is tested first. It helps indicate film's flexibility. When you measure bending strain, you're essentially seeing how much a material can stretch or compress without breaking. A material that can handle a lot of bending strain before it cracks or deforms is considered flexible. In other words, a higher bending strain indicates a higher flexibility. In practice, a researcher would prepare the specimen in the form of a strip, then place the sample on a bending fixture, then gradually apply a load to create a bending moment, then record the data. In this publication, the bending test is described as conducted with naked eyes or under a microscope or an optical magnifier. Finally, the value is calculated in the formula listed. H is the thickness of the membrane, and R is the bending radius corresponding to the membrane without any observable kinks, wrinkles, cracks, or damages. Argyrodite-type sulfide can have different doping amount to fine-tune its properties. These two plots show relationship between the bromine-chlorine ratio and the bending radius of solid electrolyte membranes. Both figures show that lower molar ratio of bromine-chlorine gives better flexibility. When there's no bromine doping, it exhibits the best flexibility. But why is bromine added? Because introducing bromine can increase the lithium-ion conductivity of the electrolyte by altering the lattice structure, making it easier for lithium ions to transport. Bromine atoms are generally larger than chlorine atoms. This leads to lattice expansion and distortion. In this case, it lowers the activation energy needed for lithium ions to migrate, resulting in better performance, especially at lower temperatures. Also, some studies shows that bromine substitution can improve the chemical and electrochemical stability of LPSCl. This can help with issues related to decomposition at high voltages. Besides the chemical composition, binder type and content also play a role in it. With a bending strain of at least 0.1%, the plot shows that increasing polymer binder amount would make the membrane more flexible. A higher slope corresponds to improved elastic performance of the composite film. On the right side is a list of binder candidates mentioned by authors. On the left side is the table of summary. Different chemistries are compared side by side. Ionic conductivity data is measured in a torque cell with stacking pressure of 375 megapascal. All examples are showing bending strain higher than 0.1% with conductivity no less than 0.5 millisiemens per centimeter. X-ray diffraction data of these crystallites are shown on the right side. You look closely. Peaks in example number 2 shift to higher frequency or lower periodicity than others, indicating a relatively small unit cell without bromine doping. Comparative sample 1, sample 2, as well as sample 12 show the largest cells parameters, which agrees with their high bromine-chlorine ratio. So why does this matter? This patent demonstrates a practical approach for developing flexible solid electrolytes by combining a rigid inorganic sulfide phase with an elastic polymeric component. This strategy enables easier processing while maintaining high lithium-ion conductivity. Such composite sulfide electrolytes offer an improved balance between mechanical softness and electrochemical performance. The materials and fabrication approach are compatible with roll-to-roll solid-state battery manufacturing and represent a step towards safer, lighter, and form factor adaptive solid-state batteries for wearable electronics. And as always, I'll keep tracking these updates so you don't have to. Thanks for watching. If you're as excited about batteries as we are, hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode.